for the whole team, man. Good for him, dude.
That's right.
Good for us.
That's right. Ain't no fun at the homies can't have none.
Damn right. Here's the other thing that's great about this Bucks team now, because like people don't laugh at this series. We didn't. We talked about it yesterday. These dudes are second in defensive efficiency, man. Yeah. And they're the best in turning opponents over at 17.7. In comparison,
Really?
Yes, the Hawks are 16.6. They're third. And we'll get to them here in a second. But, yeah, they turn people over, dude. That's why you see all these dunks on SportsCenter about Antetokounmpo. They turn dudes over and get in the transition and just start throwing lobs. And Antetokounmpo is like dunking from like the three-point line on dudes. And, this whole nonsense is going on. They just young and dumb and full of, whatever. So I look for that to be a pretty good series, man, because the Bulls are going to still be trying to find themselves, man, and find out, especially if the games are close, like who's going to take the last shot, because it's not that. When was Derrick Rose's MVP year? 2011. It's not 2011 no more. Where Derrick takes like 40 shots in the game, and he's under 50% shooting. This volume shooting thing, it's not that no more. You got other guys that can not contribute. I'm not gonna say contribute. That are good players. Pau Gasol is his average. He's like the oldest player, like the average or the oldest player to have as many double doubles as he's had this year. Yeah, that's balling. Taj Gibson, the energy guy. Jimmy Butler. Not only a great defensive player, but has shown his offensive game this year. Yeah, this is not and me saying that Derrick is the fourth option is different. Definitely not a slight on him. It's just what it is. Like other guys have emerged in his absence on this team, not even around the league because that's happened too. But just on his own team, other guys have emerged in his absence.
You know why? Because they've gotten so used to him not being there.
Right, and I got yelled at for that. Goff yelled at me. All right, here we go. Which one do you want to say the Hawks for last? Or you want to go Wizards Raptors here? Because I had like 4 notes on the Wizards Raptors. It's real short.
Well, let's just do that one quick. Do that one quick.
Okay, the Raptors lead that series 3-1. We all know about the Wizards situation. John Wall, Bradley Beal, Nene, Gortat down low. On paper, they got a pretty nice team, man. They just haven't. And the thing about them, they can't shoot the 3 ball. It's like this is the one team that can't shoot the damn 3. John Wall's improved his outside game, his shot and everything, but he's actually do so much more. You know what I mean? The guy who can get in transition off of made shot because he's so damn fast and quick with the basketball. And Rob said we're gonna get to this real quick. This dude had the most double doubles out of any guard this season. He had 40, dude. 40 double doubles for John Wall. Actually getting into that conversation that we're talking about when we talk about Derrick Rose and guys who have passed him up. John Wall is finding himself in that. He's going to find himself. He's another guy that you get to see him 2 years in a row, playoff style, And last year, he wasn't as good as he is this year. So now you get to see John Wall's maturity from last year to this year. And the maturity in his game, I mean, not in him the person, but in his game. You get to see him another year on the big stage if you're one of these novices that kind of just tune in more when the postseason starts. So that's going to be a treat in this game. What is it? Oh, yeah. Here's the thing about the Raptors. Do you remember when the Raptors were second in the Eastern Conference? Yeah, they started January there, and then some kind of way they found their way to fourth. So there's that. And not for anything. Kyle Lowry, he made the All-Star game, but he's had a back injury since then, so that kind of hurt them. They still got DeMar DeRozan out there. I look for this series to be another one of those ugly series. Nothing that you're gonna. The next day be excited about watching, but I do advise you watch it. If not, if for no other reason for the John Wall situation, they got that backcourt is nice. Him and Bradley Beal is a real nice backcourt. At one point, they kind of stepped outside themselves, start talking about comparing them to the one in Golden State. Back off that one a little bit. Just back on up out of that one. But it's a nice backcourt. It is. It's a nice backcourt. The backcourt in Portland is a nice backcourt when Matthews is help. I actually heard his name being linked to the Atlanta Hawks, man, when his deal is up. A guy that the Atlanta Hawks could afford. When it's time to, especially like if Damari, who was talking about the Knicks, that he won't that's not a team that he would necessarily just automatically cross off his list when the free agency stands, when free agency comes, and with that money, actually they said even if they do bring Damari back, they'll still have enough money to sign a guy like Wesley Matthews, another guy who can spread the floor at the 2-guard position and give you some more shooting. Yeah, just something to think about, Atlanta Hawks fans. Now while we're talking about that, Oh, the Hawks and the Nets. This is going to be push infest, and it should be. Is what I'm saying. It should be. Like all this nonsense. People, oh, Brooklyn, experience, and they've got guys who got game. Shut up. I don't care. They're the Nets. The Hawks have been pushing it on these dudes all game to an average of 17 points per game. So there's that. Each victory, and one was an extreme violation. So whatever, dude. The Hawks need to get rid of these dudes. And maybe they get one in the Barclay, maybe. But the Sefolosha thing is still on my mind with these guys because there's another element to it. You're going to be asking DeMario to play more minutes, against a guy like Joe Johnson, who whatever you think about Joe's still a big physical guard, and he is someone that you have to, you got to play Joe. You can't just go out there and oh, it's Joe. You got to play that dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's still a big 6'7", 230-pound guard that can turn his back on you and get real nasty with you down on that block. And if you're DeMar, you got to realize that you don't have Sefolosha on the bench to come in and give this dude that change-up, that different look. It's on you now.
Right.
Until you reach the bench and get Ken Bazemore, who hadn't played that many minutes this year.
Now, here locally, that's all I keep hearing. I try not to listen to local sports talk radio for obvious reasons.
I haven't in almost a year now.
But, right, good for you. Terrible for me. But, I'm just, okay, the whole Joe Johnson thing. Dude, do you realize how many years ago that was? That Joe left Atlanta?
What, three now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just listen to the radio today and everybody's saying, oh, Joe Johnson. Well, what about Joe? What about, I'm for real, I don't expect Joe Johnson to be no damn difference maker in this series.
Nah, he ain't gonna win no damn games.
Because the one thing that I will say, man, and attitudes, I think me and you had this conversation before about the attitude of coaches and attitudes of the star player. Mm-hmm. Usually it trickles down. Mm-hmm. With a guy like Joe Johnson, I use these Atlanta Hawks for not this year's team, but the Hawks with Joe Johnson. The Hawks with Joe Johnson were a team that were really good. 1 year, Mike Whitson last year, they won 54 games. Mm-hmm. Six less than this year. So, but nobody celebrated the 54. But anyway, but the thing about that team and the previous year's team was the fact that once you punch them in the mouth, they kind of would just go away. And you know what I'm talking about with those old Hawks teams. They would just give the hell up. They would just surrender in most situations. And now, when you look at this team, they're fighting. This Atlanta Hawks team, they're a bunch of fighters. But when you look at Brooklyn, it's the same thing. When you punch them in the mouth, they'll just go the hell away.
Well, because I think they do the same thing that got done down here with Mike Woodson, man. It's like when the Hawks felt like they needed a basket, the offense became, all right, everyone, clear it out. Give the ball to Joe. And it's it's a different game, Mike. This ain't, people can play zones now. So you can't just clear out a side and let Michael Jordan, go to work on Craig Elo anymore or Reggie Theus. Every time Michael Jordan played Reggie Theus, just go ahead and, put 40 in pencil. Or just put the 4. Because the other number's going to get filled in. You know what I mean? He's going to bust Reggie Theus for at least 40 that game. Because you can play that way. Just like you said that epic battle with Dominique and Larry Bird. You know why? It was all right, guys, move out the way, all you bums.
And let them go for it.
Cliff Livingston and you dudes, get out the way, Spud. Some real basketball players about to do something right now, real special. And yeah, you see these dudes just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth because, the game was different. You could, the illegal defense was still a thing back then. It's gone now. Guys can cheat all the way and play halfway zones and all that kind of stuff, like the way the Mavs did LeBron in that finals. They started zoning that dude off and please shoot the jump shot, bruh. Shoot the jump shot. Shoot the shot. Shoot it.
Shoot the J.
Right. Here's the other thing about the Hawks. I had to text Goff about this today as well because of the way it was written. I couldn't understand how to translate. It said 1.8 assists to turnover ratio, and I was like, okay, how do I read that? And he was like, basically that's 2 to 1 turnover ratio. And I was like, damn, all right. I can understand that. That's pretty damn good. 1.8 assists to every turnover. Yeah, you can live with that. You can eat off that a little bit to the tune of 60 wins. You know what I mean? You're not turning the ball over and you moved it. And your boy, the captain of Atlanta's Air Force, broke it down last night. He was talking about these dudes. Oh, this is a great stat. Take this to the barbershop with you. The Hawks have the highest percentage of uncontested jumpers. That means when they get their jump shots, they're wide open at 79.5%, dude. That's 80% of the time. What?
Because of the way the floor, because of how they space their floor when Kyle Korver's out there.
And
you see them, they start the penetration. And then they kick it up, and he's wide open.
You know who the catalyst of that is? Is Jeff Teague and the decisions that he makes within the pick and roll game. He's matured so much in his pick and roll game, and he's made that's the difference. Like people wonder, like where is Dennis Schroeder in his maturity? He's got to get there where Jeff is, and always making the right decision in the pick and roll game. Even if you got to bring it back out, do it again. And like you mentioned, Kyle's always moving, and these dudes get 80% of their. And when Fratello's breaking it down, and we're talking about open, bruh, we're talking open, like asshole open, dude, open. You know what I'm saying? Here's another. Like the Hawks got a bunch of little nuggets. You can take these to the barbershop and kill it tomorrow, or to the beauty shop. The Hawks are the only team not to have a player score 30 points and win 60 games. You wonder, like some of the other teams that had this go on? Yeah, the 04-05 Bobcats had the same type of situation. No one scored 30 points in the whole season. Yeah, they won 18 games. In 02-03, the Nuggets...
Well, they weren't playing in the same system.
The Nuggets did that same thing. No player scored 30 or more points throughout the whole season, 82 games. They won 17. This is just how special, you know what I mean? Like Budenholzer, I said this last year about him, and I said it under the context of I was on the air, and I said, you know what? I found out everything I need to find out about this dude. He can motivate, and he can coach. Now, tank next season so you can get him a starter coach. Yeah, I was wrong in that aspect. I was wrong about that. No, I need to tank nobody. No, I need to take nothing. Take the same squad and win 60 games, do that. And he did it.
Right.
So in one half of it, I feel I was right, but the second half I couldn't have been wronger. Or more wrong, if I can say it in proper English. I already talked about Cephalosha, the ability to give a guy like Joe Johnson just a changeup, a different look, because the Ken Bazemore thing, you gotta understand, he hadn't played that many minutes this year, and then now to have him now in the playoffs, the most important time of the season, ramp his minutes up. We're going to see. We're going to see where he's still a young guy, so we'll see, if we saw it a couple years ago, Derrick Rose and Jeff Teague. We saw Jeff grow that day, and we saw what kind of player he could be. Now over the next few years, there was a bunch of inconsistency, and this year under Coach Bud, Jeff Teague has put it together. We need Ken Bazemore to kind of speed that learning curve up for these playoffs. Now, good thing about that is the Hawks are going to have the easiest road to the Cavs in the finals. This is going to be like they beat this squad, this bum ass net squad. They play whoever wins between Toronto and Washington, and then the next game will be the finals against maybe the Cavs, or some people are picking the Bulls. Either way, the Hawks should find themselves there. Barring anything unforeseen injury-wise or anything like that, they should find themselves there. Probably the biggest concern they're going to have is that Brook Lopez has found his game in the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? I think, who's the coach up there? Lionel Hollins is the coach, right?
Yeah, Lionel. Yeah.
Yeah, he benched him. And it kind of lit a fire up on him a little bit. And Brook Lopez has been playing his butt off, and that's going to be Al's guy, Al Horford's guy. So the problem on the other side of the floor, though, is that because of the way the Hawks big men are able to play and space the floor, they're going to have to come out there and cover people like Pero and Al and Paul Millsap. They're going to have to come out and cover some people, which is going to be it's going to look ugly, ladies and gentlemen. I said maybe the Nets get one, but ask me if I'll be surprised if the Hawks sweep these dudes and go home and let Paul rest that shoulder up. You know what I mean? I won't be. Yeah, I won't be at all. This is a bum-ass squad. I don't give a damn about experience and if Darren Woodson or Darren Woodson, that's another dude, another sport. Darren Williams can find his former self. Whatever, dude. Whatever.
Can I quote Lionel Hollins, since we just brought him up?
Okay, please, quote Lionel Hollins.
Here it is. Quote, I don't think we have any advantages over the Atlanta Hawks.
Right. They don't. They don't.
They're out.
At
They're
best,
already kicked out.
At best, the Brook Lopez Al Horford thing is a wash. The Damari Carroll, Joe Johnson matchup is a wash. And if Jeff don't beat Darren Williams like he stole something,